My name is Sabira, as Madam Speaker introduced me, and I'm so grateful to have this platform. So today we're going to talk about the world around us. The place that we live here, we're so far away from what is going on in Palestine, in Gaza. It is these news channels and our underlying knowledge that can help us walk through. So we'll go through these slides. If you have a question, please let me know in between, although we'll have some time at the end to discuss, okay? So, first of all, we're going to look at where is Palestine. Can you all see where is Palestine? Do you see? I don't see the word Palestine there. So where is it? You see it? What word do you see here that tells you it is Palestine? Excellent, Gaza. And what else? Tel Aviv is actually Israel. I'll tell you, it's West Bank. Can you see West Bank up there? And do you see Jerusalem with a star? Yes. So, in the original book, this place that has been labeled as Israel was actually Palestine. All of this was Palestine. But as time goes on, and what's happening now, only the parts written Gaza and West Bank are what remain of the land of Palestine. So where is Palestine on the world map? Do we see Egypt? Egypt is in Africa, right? North, south, or east? North, it's at the top. So, in Gaza there, they have a border with Egypt, and they have a border with Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea. Do you see the sea there? Yes. That sea is very important because it's the side where they have ships and army, navy, and boats that can come there. You see? Next slide, please. Now in that picture there, whatever is yellow, that is what Gaza and Palestine are today. The good thing about Palestine is a very rich area of history. They have remains there that come from Stone Age, over 9,000 years back. This area is one of the oldest areas where people stay. So that area has had a lot of religions staying there. Commonly, the religions that were staying there very peacefully were Muslims, Jews, and Christians. Who are Muslims? Can anybody tell me? Yes, tell me. You can sit. Excellent. Who are Christians? Anybody? Just say, it's a discussion. Who is the God of Christians? Jesus. Excellent. And the Jews, do we know about the Jews? So the Jews in Swahili are called Yahudi. Have you ever heard of this? Yes. Jews were the followers of Prophet Musa. So they are also good people because they believe in a prophet that we all believe in as well, right? Yes. Jews are followers of Prophet Musa. They have a book, Torah. But of course, over time, that holy book, Torah, has had some changes over time. But regardless, there are still people who believe in one God. Their God is called Yahweh. Okay? Next slide, please. Now we need to identify the flag of Palestine. We've all seen the news of what's happening, right? Which one? That one up there, right? Very good. Can we identify any other flags? Tanzania, very good. Anything else? Yes, ma'am? Where is it? Very good. Any other flag? America, very good. Where is Egypt? This one? Very good. And what is that flag there for the star? Israel, very good. And this one? I'll tell you, it's Jordan. Jordan is one of the borders of Gaza, and they are actually supporters of Gaza. Next slide. has a meaning, right? What does green in the word? This is. Every flag has a meaning, right? What does green color in the flag of Tanzania show us? Excellent. So this flag also has a meaning. The black shows the wars and the trouble that they've had. The white shows them the sign of peace. They are actually peaceful people. Green shows their good deeds. And red shows their swords. Because over time, as we will see, whatever has happened has caused these people to uprise. And that's the reason why we are here today, strong and united. Yes, sir? So this is, like I said, it's a holy land for all three main religions. According to what we saw in the map, we saw Jerusalem in there, right? Now, this area is very sacred and very holy to all the religions. For the Yahudis, according to their books, this is the area that Abraham will come and it is their promised land. So they believe that they have to be in Israel or Palestine. The Christians say it's very holy because Masjid Aqsa in Jerusalem is the area where Prophet Isa was born. And it's their God. Makes sense? And for Muslims, it is extremely holy. Can you tell me what is this? Very good. Yes, it's a very holy place for us. We have hadiths that say praying in Masjid Aqsa equals 50 times more thawab than praying anywhere else. So it's a very sacred place for Muslims as well. So this is the third holiest place. The first being the Kaaba, the second being the Haram, the Masjid around the Prophet, and then comes Masjid Aqsa. It is also the place that the Prophet visited before he went to Miraj, yes. And Allah has named this place as holy and blessed. So what is happening in Palestine? What is going on? Has anybody heard the word occupation of Israel, of Palestine? Yes. Yes. Can anyone tell me what you hear about it? What does occupation mean to you? So, occupation is pretty much a state where another country has the power over everything on your country. So this includes money, Yemen, Mahruta, Dawa, everything. So everything in the remaining Palestine that we see, West Bank and Gaza, is literally controlled by Israel. While this land originally was of Palestine, and after the World War, when Israel had nowhere to go, Palestine offered them home to the refugees. But over time, what's happening? Israel has wanted more land and more power because remember, according to them, this is their holy land. So what has gone on is over time they have seized Gaza. This means that Gaza people don't have any rights there. Everything comes from being dependent on Israel. So as you can see in the first picture over there, let's assume that the smaller part up there is Gaza. So literally all borders of Gaza are being observed by Israel. Israel has cameras around there. They can see who walks in, who walks out, who gets what, how much electricity is there, everything. Which is why, since we remember, there have been donor trucks from multiple organizations that enter into Gaza to give them aid, which is one major problem that we're seeing today. Because Israel controls all this, they have the say. And this applies to everybody, even the children. So for children to get what they want, it has to be approved by Israel. Is that clear? So, is this occupation of Israel on the land that was never theirs to begin with legal? Is it allowed? What do you think? What do you think? Is it allowed for the Israel team to have that much power over there? Okay, no. Why do we think no? Because the land was originally Palestine. So, now comes the question that they ask. Does it mean that it's a Muslim against Jews thing? Does it mean that it's the Muslims fighting against the Jews? Answer? No. This does not mean that. Jews are actually very peace-loving people, and so are Muslims. But it is the government of Israel. Has anybody heard the word Zionist? Yes? Do you know what it means? Tell me. Okay, those who don't love Allah, okay? So pretty much Zionists are people who push for the Jews, all of Jews, to have their own land and their own area, no matter who gets hurt or how much injury they do. And you'll be surprised that the Jews themselves don't like the Zionists. And remember, the Zionists are not only Jews. We have Muslim Zionists, like you know Salman Rushdie? So there are Muslims who are also Zionists. There are Jews who are also Zionists. And there are Jews who love peace and don't want this to keep happening. Many Jews all around the world are in support of what's happening in Palestine. They are against what is happening. So let's remember, it is not a religious thing. It's not Muslims against the Jews and the Christians or so. It is the government and the people who have the power. But it is us, the local citizens, who are being affected. And it is our responsibility to come together and know what's going on so we can do what we can, as we will see in the slides. Now, all this was happening before the year 1948. None of us were born, right? 1948. So we were not there when all this was happening. But something very significant happened in 1948, and it is called the Nakba. This is something you have to remember throughout when it comes to the history of Palestine and Israel. Remember how I told you that Israel had come into Palestine? Palestine gave them home, right? Now what has happened is Israel wanted more home. So they told the Palestinian people to move away. So they became what we call refugees. Palestine had to leave their own home and find shelter somewhere else. You can see how many people had to leave their home? 800,000 people. Over 15,000 Palestinians were killed. So let us think about this. Palestine had to leave their home and go, right? What does home mean? What do you define as home? This is something you should think about. That you can imagine that something that Palestine called home and another force so strong that caused them to leave their homes. So do you understand the amount of threat, oppression, and everything that Israel has been doing to Palestine, forcing them to leave their homes? So this is a pictorial presentation of Nakba. The woman there has the Palestine flag, and she has nothing around her because everything has been destroyed. Her family is destroyed, and she is forced to leave. But remember, nowhere in the world are people also ready to accept all these Palestinians. We're talking about 2.3 million as the population of Palestine. No country can accept them. So the people of Palestine were scattered all around the world. That's why today every other continent has people and families from Palestine because of this Nakba. Do you understand what Nakba is? So, in the year 1967 is when the first physical active war happened. Israel launched a fight. And they fought against Palestine so much that you will see in the next picture that how small the land Palestine got over time. And they also wanted Masjid Aqsa, which is currently belonging to both sides, the Israel side and the Palestine side. Do you see this picture? Green shows the area of Palestine, and white shows the area of Israel. This is 1946, the first picture there. All of the land was Palestine. This is when Israel came into Gaza as refugees. Then the Nakba happened, 1947, 1948. And do you see the white space has been increasing over here? More area has been taken up by Israel, and Palestine has had to move. Then came the first wartime, after the Nakba and the war. Even more land of Palestine has been taken up by them. Palestine has small fragments. And this was in 2012. So as we speak of today, more land of Palestine has been taken up. So do you see what remains of Palestine here? That's the Gaza Strip, and that's the West Bank. Do you see where Gaza Strip and West Bank are? And these are the only remaining part of Palestine, which the people of Palestine today wanted to remain with them. Now there is this word called the apartheid. It's a very complicated word. But this is what Israel is doing to Palestine. Israel, people and the government of Israel, look at the Palestinians as they are different people because of color. Well, most Israelis are white and most Palestinians are Arab, so Israel is looking down at them because of their color. And this is something that has been extremely painful and difficult, and the entire world agrees that this is wrong, including the United Nations, including someone in Israel themselves. They say that people who stay together must live together. It does not make any sense to look down on someone, well, because of color. Do we agree? Remember how I told you about the security that's available there? So all this area is Israel's, and Gaza is up there. So this is the amount of security that Gaza has seen on its border with Israel. So Israel is going to be looking around in their cameras, and they will see, they have actually their cars patrolling around to see if there's anybody from the Gaza team around. They have sand over here. It's such a soft sand, that you can see the footprints, which is why they put it in case anybody from Gaza passes by. They have a lot of very strong fence around and electric wire. So if anybody from Gaza touches, they get electrocuted. And this is just a border within themselves. So over time what's happening is the people of Palestine are really upset about all that's going on. And remember, as we'll see in the other slide, Palestine doesn't have as much money and support and everything as Israel has. Remember I told you United Nations say that doing this apartheid thing is not allowed? The United Nations, has anybody heard of the United Nations? We know it. So there are a group of people that have many functions, many objectives, but they also have to keep peace in many countries. So let's look at the military power. Israel's military and army is very, very strong. It's called Mossad. They have intelligence army, they have ships, they have aircraft, everything. But Palestine doesn't. Listen. Palestine's army is so much different, as we will see. You see Israeli army, they are way stronger. They, a lot of people, fancy equipment, they even have aircrafts. So they have all the fancy equipment that we can think of. So what does Palestine have? Palestine has something that we call Hamas. Has anybody heard of Hamas? Yes? So Hamas is what formed from the people. Yani wananchi wa Palestina wenyewe kwa wenyewe wameamua kwamba we will be a group who will stand up for what's happening. And They do not want this type of oppression to go on to them. And they are actually people who follow rules in the wars. They do not kill innocent people, and they shoot when they are shot at first. You see? These Hamas people are actually people that our scholars, like Ayatollah Sistani, Ayatollah Khamenei, have actually given praise for, because they have taken the ability to stand up against what's happening to them. They are fighting powers like America, Israel, Germany for this. And this is how Hamas look. Hamas do not have many fancy weapons. It's just a group of people and a little bit of equipment here and there that they can have. So now what's happening now? This is something I want us to discuss. What do you think is happening right now? Is it a war? What is happening? What has anybody heard? Anybody who can tell me what's going on? Who is blasting which side? Does anybody know? Yes, sir? Yes, perfect. Anybody else? Anybody here know what's happening around? You know? Just say, what do you think is happening? Excellent, yes. Anybody else? Hospitals are destroyed, yes. So, is this war or is it genocide? Genocide, right? What does genocide mean? Genocide is when one side of the army is so much stronger and has the aim to completely destroy everything on the other side, not considering the women, the children, the elderly, the sick, nothing of that sort of consideration. So, Palestine resistance, which is called Hamas, has mostly been peaceful with what's going on, but sometimes they use force, which happened this time. When Israel attacks, Hamas attacks back. Now this cycle has kept going on, and there is violence on both sides. Israel, day in, day out, they blast Palestine, be it morning, evening, night. They don't even have, people of Gaza don't even have electricity. So when it's night, it's actually pitch black, dark. They cannot see anything and they are surprised by a blast. They don't even have enough food. They have to stand in a line of at least 300 people to get bread. And then only get one slice of bread, which is for their family, which is not even enough. Because remember, Israel is controlling everything in Gaza. Certain crimes are existing which are called illegal. No matter what type of a war you are in, there are certain things that you are not allowed to do. But Israel has been doing them anyway. And this includes bombing hospitals, areas where refugees stay, bombing schools, bombing mosques and churches in Palestine. Remember I told you Palestine has so much history in it? It has one of the world's oldest church. And that has also been blasted by the people of Israel. More than 9,000 people have been killed in the last 3 weeks. We're talking about 21 days, and 9,000 people have been killed, out of which 50% are children under the age of 18, and there are women in there as well. More than 1 million people had to leave their homes and go to other parts within that small piece of Gaza that we saw. So they are being blasted, they cannot leave. So all that's happening is innocent people in Gaza are being killed. People in Gaza are hungry, they are thirsty, they are tired, and they are injured. But even if they are injured, they cannot get access to good health care and good medication because guess what? The hospitals are also blasted. There is no hospital. And remember, in this population, we still have newborns who need to be in the hospital, but that's not happening because they don't have electricity for the machines. they die. Why? Because there is no electricity. So this is a picture of a mother. She's holding a bucket over there with a little bit of food, and it's her child and people around. The top picture up there are a few doctors in the hospital who are addressing the public about what's happening, and we can see areas in white behind. That's where multiple bodies are kept and covered. And the doctor is addressing what is going on and the need to have help in stopping this issue that's going on. This is a doctor over there. They're performing a surgery on the corridors in the hospital because all the beds are occupied and there is nowhere that they can go. And over here is an area that was recently blasted by Israel, and it formed so much of a mess, and people are still stuck under all that sand. Remember I told you Gaza has no electricity? So at night it's so dark, and once something lights up, they know it's the blast that's occurring over there. And this is the state of the hospitals and the ambulances inside. Because of the blast and the damage is going on, they are not even functional anymore. These pictures are very sad to see because it's happening to our fellow human beings. These are their houses that are being blasted and bombed, and people don't have anywhere to go. And they are also finding dead bodies under all this rubble, under all this sand that's been collected as a result of the blast. So, in a day, they lose over 400 members in the community, and everybody is virtually shrouded, but it's so heartbreaking for the families to be seeing such things going on around them. So, we need to do something for all that's happening, right? Before I go on, what do you think are some of the things that we can do apart from praying to God, because that's already there? So what else do you think that we can do for them? Pray, yes, pray. What else? Sorry? Excellent, yes, you can fast for them. Anything else? Anybody? Yes, what? You can pray for them, absolutely. Yes, to supply food for them. So first and foremost is to keep our belief in Allah, because Allah is watching what is happening and He is giving the people of Gaza the strength and the ability to deal with this. So we need to keep our belief in Allah and keep praying to Allah. Second thing that's been going on at this protest, has any of you come across this protest anywhere? Have you seen this? So people all around the world, be it in London, America, Jordan, Turkey, Qatar, everywhere, they are protesting because it is their governments who can make a decision, but they are not making the decision, so the citizens are against all this. So citizens are coming on the roads, blocking major sites to protest and walk for this and say that what's happening in Palestine is not human. Well, the politics and whatever happened years ago is something else. But the current destruction of property, of life, of very important structures is something that's not acceptable by any human being. So if we have this protest around, joining them is something very important because it shows us that we are standing in solidarity, in unity with them. What else can we do? Number one is the most important thing. Read and learn their history. If you read and if you learn these things, you are able to educate somebody else and you are able to give awareness of what is going on. Discuss what you learn here today and generally with people around you. Give charity and to direct organizations, just like what he said. So there are some companies around that are collecting any money that we can get, and they are helping it to go to Gaza. But alternatively, we can also give sadaqah and pray to Allah that for the sake of this, please help ease what is going on in Palestine. Second thing is social media. You know Instagram and Facebook and Twitter the system of the ones who created all this has been affected so much that they do not want what you post to be seen out there. But because people keep on posting, there is nothing that the Israeli media team and technology can do, because the power is actually in the people. And the people are you and I. It is you and I whose posts, whose prayers, whose awareness is actually going to make a difference. One thing that's been going around here very much is to boycott products of Israel. Israel has multiple things that they sell around the world, and from that they get some money, and it funds and gives money for them to make more of these bombs. A very common product here in our country is, yes, Coca-Cola is funded by Israel. So if you drink Coca-Cola today, the money that you pay is going to go and make bombs in Israel to hurt the people in Gaza. So one thing that we can do for the people there is stop drinking. Stop drinking. Very good. So what will we drink now? Very good. Or Alza or more cola, right? But we do not want to drink this because we do not want to be asked by Allah that what did you do when you were told that you could simply stop something like this, but we chose not to. Right? So if we boycott their products, it actually makes an impact to them. You might say that I am one person, I mean I'm just drinking like one, what difference would it make? But imagine if 7 billion people around the world say the same thing. I'm just one person, it doesn't matter. And if all of us decide I will be that one person to stop, imagine the impact of 7 billion people stopping the same thing. Do we understand the boycott? And another very important thing is to pray for the Imam to reappear, right? Because of course this is not something pleasant to occur in the world, and it's painful for the Imam as well. And like we wish that we would be in Karbala responding and helping our Imam, these times here we have Muslims and human beings generally in Palestine who are asking for our help. Will you and I help them by doing this? Will we help them? Very good. I didn't get a louder yes. Will we help them? Yes. Will we do what we can? Yes. Will we try and read and learn more about them? Yes. Very good. Well, I've come to the end of my presentation. Can anybody tell us something that we learned from here today? And I will have a few questions before I hand it back, please. Very good, yes. Anything else that we've learned? Tom? Of course, yes, perfect. Yes, very good, she has a very important one. Very good. Anything else? Or any questions that we have? Anything you want to discuss or anything that you want to ask?
Okay. Before we go to discussion with children, I would first like to thank you, Sabira, for the beautiful explanation which we didn't know. We have learned, isn't it? On the side of the staff and the children, we learned so much. Okay? Just in short, nobody rudi kwa Kiswahili. Itakuwa vizuri kama point zile za mwisho. Nadhani historia imeeleweka kwa sababu kulikuwa kuna slides hapa, mmeweza kuona imeanza vipi mpaka kufikia leo, ni miaka mingapi shida hizi za Palestine na Israeli zinaendelea hata kabla hatujazaliwa wote. tumeweza kuelewa wote, si ndio? Okay. Fatma, are you ready to just kidogo utueleze points zile za mwisho kwa Kiswahili, kwa sababu wengine pia waweze kuelewa vizuri, na baada ya hapo students, kama mna maswali, hata kama mnashindwa kuuliza kwa Kiingereza, ulizeni kwa Kiswahili. Ni muda mliopewa, walimu, staff, mtu yote anayetaka kuelewa aulize, ili tuweze kujifunza mengine, kwa sababu ni muhimu tuweze kujua. Baada ya Teacher Fatma kuongea, nitaweza kuelezea mengine zaidi.
Okay. Kama dada yetu Sabira alikuja kutuelezea kuhusiana na historia nzima iliyo na matukio mazima yanayoendelea katika nchi ya Palestina katika miaka hii recently, hata hivi karibuni, ambayo sasa hivi imekuwa ni hatari mno na imekuwa ni ya kusikitisha, kwa sababu dada Sabira ametuelezea jinsi ambavyo Palestina walivyokuwa Jews au watu ambao wa Israel walikaribishwa. Ni kama nini hapo, aje mgeni nyumbani kwenu, akishakuja mgeni umkaribishe, umpe chumba alale, umpe vyakula, alafu baada ya muda aje akutoe ndani ya nyumba yako, uwe hauna mahala pa kwenda. Ushawahi kuiona hiyo? Hebu niambie, ukitolewa ndani ya nyumba yako sasa hivi, afu kao unaenda unatangatanga mtaani, hauna pa kulala, hauna pa kula, hauna pa kupata huduma zako za msingi, utakuwa katika hali gani? Utakuwa katika hali gani? Mbaya, huna pa kulala, huna pa kula, alafu ukirudi nyumbani kwako unauliwa, itakuwa ni katika hali mbaya sana. Sasa hivi kinachoendelea katika nchi ya Palestina, Waisraeli wanaoua hata watoto. Wamepiga bomu katika baadhi ya maeneo ambayo tumeonyeshwa, nyumba zimeanguka, na ndani ya zile nyumba, imagine ghorofa hili la kwetu hapa, tupo ndani tuangukie huko kwa wakati mmoja, mtakuwa katika hali gani? Hebu niambie, mtakuwa katika hali gani? Watoto wa sasa hivi wa Palestina, wanawake wa Palestina wanachimbuliwa chini katika majengo yaliyoangukia, wanachimbuliwa, wanatolewa huko ndani katika vyombo, wengine macho yametoboka kutokana na mabomu, wengine wana hali mbaya sana. Na yote haya yanatokana na Waisraeli wanataka kukaa waitawale kabisa nchi ya Palestina na waondoe wa Palestina katika ile sehemu, ili wao take control. Tumeelewana gani? Kwa hiyo nini ambacho mimi na wewe tutafanya? Tuko mbali na Palestina au tuko karibu nao? Ni sehemu ambayo hatuwezi kwenda kwa mguu, ni sehemu ambayo tukitaka kwenda kwa ndege tunapata restriction, tunapata vikwazo. Mimi na wewe tutafanya nini ili tuweze kuwasaidia au kuwaunga mkono watu ambao wako Palestina kwa sasa? Cha kwanza, sisi kama Waislamu au sio Waislamu, ni kuwa strong katika faith zetu. Sisi tuwe na imani thabiti na tuweze kuomba kwa Mwenyezi Mungu, kuwaombea wa Palestina. Mwenyezi Mungu anakusikia hata dua ya kwako wewe ni mtoto mdogo. Unaweza kusema mimi ni mtoto wa darasa la pili, mimi ni mtoto wa darasa la tatu, mimi ni mtoto wa darasa la nne. Mimi dua yangu nikiomba itafika pale ulipo. Mwenyezi Mungu anakusikia maombi yako, hasa dua zetu ambazo zinatakikana, kwa sababu you are very pure and innocent, ambao unaweza mkaomba jambo ambalo Mwenyezi Mungu akalisikia direct. Kwa hiyo wewe kama mwanafunzi, wewe kama mtoto, ni jukumu lako, unatakiwa uwajibike juu ya kuombea wa Palestina. Lakini pia tumesikia wa Palestina kama ni nchi ambayo wa Israel ni nchi ambayo inajiendesha, kwa hiyo ina bidhaa ambazo inauza katika nchi za dunia tofauti tofauti. Mfano, tumepata kujua kampuni yao kubwa ambayo ni kampuni pendwa, ambao watu wengi sana wanakunywa vinywaji vyao. Vinywaji vya nini? Ya Coca-Cola. Kwa hiyo ukisema mimi kuanzia leo, mimi na familia yangu, watu wanaenda kumwambia baba, unakuta wazazi wetu wengine wanapenda sana kwa kila Coca bana, sijanywa soda bana, si ndio? Si ndio? Wazazi wetu wanakunywa Coca-Cola, hawanywi, wanakunywa, lakini wanakunywa out of ignorance. Hawajui mtu mwingine hii soda kiwanda cha Coca, na soda kiwanda cha Coca sio Coca-Cola peke yake, na soda gani nyingine? Fanta, si ndio? Zote hizo zinatokana na kiwanda kingine. Coca-Cola ni Fanta, Sprite, Coca-Cola yenyewe na nini? Stone tangawizi. Kuna so Coca-Cola tunasema mimi Coca-Cola unanunua Fanta bado umeingisha ile kampuni. Kwa hiyo unatakiwa bidhaa zote ambazo zinatokana na kiwanda cha Coca-Cola mseme kuanzia leo mimi nafsi yangu na watu wa nyumbani kwangu ni marufuku kunywa zile bidhaa, kwa sababu unapochangia ile 600 yako 700 inapomfikia Mwisraeli haendi kutengeneza umeme Gaza ya watu wanaishi bila umeme. Tumeambiwa wanahangaika, hawana maji, wanahangaika, vyakula havipatikani, lakini yeye Mwisraeli badala ya kusema hii 500 ndio pata kuona kiwanda cha Coca-Cola nikawasaidia watoto nguo, nikawasaidia watoto elimu, yeye anatengeneza bomu ambalo siku moja atakuja kufanyaje? Kuwalipua. Hapa tumeonyeshwa picha chache za watu ambao wanaathirika na wamekufa, lakini if Dada Sabira angeleta zile picha zote, nadhani kama kungekuwa na vilio visingekuwa na mwisho wake. Can you imagine seeing a child being bombed? Kuona mtu ambaye amepigwa bomu, ambaye ameangukiwa na ghorofa, ukuta wa nyumba. Kuona hiyo picha? If you can go through internet kwa wazazi wenu, mwambie naomba nione picha chache za mambo yanayoendelea Palestine, utakuwa unaelewa ni jinsi gani Dada Sabira alikuwa anajikana kuelezea jambo la Palestina ambalo wewe kwa sababu hujui ukawa unaona she's okay. Kuna muda alikuwa anaona kabisa ana try ile ku get grip ili aweze kuendelea kuongea, lakini she was not okay when she was talking about people who are suffering from Israel occupation. Tumeelewana? Kwa hiyo nendeni mkaone baadhi ya picha. Tunataka tuone watoto wa Palestine wakoje, wanaishi vipi. Tuonyesheni matukio ambayo yametokea hivi wiki 3 zilizopita, uone ni jinsi gani wanawake, watoto, wazee, hata wanaume unapopata na bongo halina mtu mzima wala mtoto, linapokuathiri linakuathiri. I saw one pic or a video actually, mzazi ameenda kumwangalia mwanae ambaye bahati mbaya bomu limempiga and that boy was dead. Hivi mzazi atakuwa na hali gani kumuona mwanae katika hali kama hiyo? It is so hurtful. Jamani. Kwa hiyo pia unaweza kuomba kwa Mwenyezi Mungu Imam Mahdi aje haraka. Tunaomba Mwenyezi Mungu Imam wetu wa zama aje, maana ufasiki, uadui na maovu na machafu yamezidi. Wewe kama mtoto au sisi kama tulioko ndani ya usaidia hii, kwa maombi yetu kwa pamoja, kutokana na mambo yote yanayoendelea katika nchi ya Palestine na unyonyaji na ukandamizaji, tunaomba Imam arudi, kwa sababu Imam atakuja kuijaza hii dunia uadilifu pamoja na usawa. Hayo ni machache kuelezea sana. Kutokana na hilo, kwa pamoja tunaomba tusome dua ukucha kuendelea kuomba Imam arudi haraka ili aje aokoe watu wote duniani pamoja na watu wa Palestina. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma kulli walika wa hujjatin hasan salawatuka alayhi wa ala alihi fi hadhihi sa'ati wa fi kulli sa'ah waliya wa hafidha wa qa'idan wa nasira wa dalila wa alina hatta tuskinahu ardaka taw'an wa tumatti'ahu fiha tawila. Allahumma salli ala